Sharp here with News Channel 5 Programming Director Mark Binda. Thank you for joining us,
You're
Mark.
welcome.
We are talking about the fall lineup right here on CBS and News Channel 5, and it's going to be a good one. It's going to be an interesting one for sure. We'll see what survives, maybe what fades away.
Yeah, and we had a decent fall last year. We had we returned to several shows. I mean, Bull debuted last year, which probably is on in a few minutes, the season premiere. Kevin Can Wait did really well for us.
They're going to shake things up this year.
Yes, and MacGyver, those three did really well for us. And then there was the Matt LeBlanc show, Man with a Plan, which actually be back later in the season. So we had some shows that stuck from last year. Now, nothing was as big a hit as the NBC show This Is Us. But if you can get a couple doubles and triples, you don't always have to have you don't have to hit the home run every time. You just don't want to strike out.
That's right. That's what we try not to do. We have a few callers on the line. Mike is on the line. Hi, Mike.
Hey, I've got a question to ask. If you don't, one question is, do you think in time that we can bring back the show Undercover Boss back on CBS? Because to me, as a person watching Undercover Boss, I felt like it gave people hope in America.
Yes.
No matter what's going on with all the killing and all the people shooting and acting crazy, there's still a lot of great people out there that shows the love for each other in the world, and I just want to know if there's any way that could maybe come back on and give people hope. And my other question is, like, I know a lot of people that live out in the country that can afford cable and internet and all this good new high-tech stuff, like Channel 5 or so down the road. Do you think that you could ever have like something like TBN where people preach and talk about what good things God are doing and reaching out and helping people in the world? And I'll hang up, and thanks for your time.
Okay, Mike, thank you very much. Let's start with that first question about Undercover Boss, a great feel-good show.
Yeah.
Was airing on Fridays.
Yeah, Undercover Boss will be back. We don't know when. CBS, it did so well. It came out of the Super Bowl that first time, and it's still one of the highest-rated standalone episodes of television that's ever aired in the national market. And, it's one of those tear-jerkers, like he was saying, a feel-good show. The problem is, I think, over time, it's been harder for CBS to produce that show because all of a sudden cameras come into your workplace. You've got to know what's going on. So they've been producing anywhere from about 6 to 10 episodes a year. And it has actually been on for a couple seasons. It hasn't ever gone away. But what CBS tends to use it for is as a utility player. A lot of times you'll see it. So Survivor will run for 13 weeks in the winter, and then 13 weeks in the spring. So a lot of times they'll run Undercover Boss in those 7 or 8 weeks in between. A lot of times, like you said, they put it on a Friday night, maybe rest MacGyver for 6 weeks. Sunday night, that's another possibility. So it's still there. It just probably doesn't get promoted as best as it should be.
So keep your eye out, Mike. And then the second question, I think, was about faith programming and using maybe the Plus, which we do offer some faith programming on the Plus, so folks can get it who aren't, tapping into satellite TV or whatever.
Well, I mean, and there are, and I don't have I've got cable and satellite, so I don't know, what my antenna would get if I only had an antenna. But there are still some religious broadcasters here in town. There's one out in Channel 5. I don't know the call letters or whatever. Yeah, so there's still some religious broadcasters out there. The problem is that most church shows pay to get on the air. It's a sad fact of the matter, but. So like Joel Osteen, we carry on Sunday mornings. He buys the time from us, so
All right, very good. Mike, I hope that answers your question. Let's jump to Sue. She's been hanging on the line. Sue, good evening. What's your question?
Good evening. I'm one of the 40% that Mark referenced early on, and the only reason I'm able to see is I finally got tired of waiting for what I thought were the negotiations between the Plus and CBS. The Plus and AT&T rather, and. But what I'm faced with now is that if I want to, like for instance, recently with the trial coverage that was done on Saturday, the CBS Morning News was CBS This Morning, whatever it's called, was the weekend edition was preempted, or part of it was, and it's like the other caller was saying, it would be nice to have the access to that, and it happens when you have like the 5K runs or whatever they are, the Music City runs. And then the second question I've got, it has to do with Charlie Rose. You carry the morning news, as I indicated, the weekday news, a program for PBS. I mean, he promotes it as being on PBS. If you're on UVerse, though, you see it on Bloomberg, which would not be a big deal, except that when it airs a day later, which it always does, if he's got something topical that's being discussed, it's old news. And I've been talking to everybody from, well, I've been trying to, I don't get any answers from his production company, from Bloomberg, from PBS or whatever. I'm just wondering if there's some element of first refusal in there, maybe, that you can carry it at some point.
Yeah, I don't know much about the Charlie Rose show. I mean, I know he does a show. It's not a CBS product. And I would think if PBS was going to carry it, the real person to talk to would be Channel 8 here. I mean, is there a reason why they don't carry the show if it's a PBS program? I would wonder about that. Is there something else they're carrying instead of Charlie Rose?
All right, Sue, thank you for your call. I'm sorry we couldn't help you more, but maybe go back and circle back to Channel 8 and see if you can start there. Let's jump back into our fall lineup. We've talked about Young Sheldon, and S.W.A.T. SEAL Team is up next that we want to talk about. Obviously, this jumps off of SEAL Team 6, which is a real military operative unit, special forces, been in the news a lot in the last few years for the operations they've carried out, killing Osama bin Laden. This is one people will tune in for.
I think so. I think, you know, Nashville's tends to be a patriot town. I mean, we've got, you know, the military base at Fort Campbell. So I think, you know, this is a show that'll resonate here. It's got a great time period. It's between Survivor and Criminal Minds. We call that the hammock position. So it's, you know, it's got a great lead in, great lead out. David Boreanaz, I don't know if I'm saying that right, but for the last 10 years has been on Bones. Before that, I think he was on one of those vampire shows. So you've got, you know, it's got that CBS signature, great male lead, kind of an ensemble cast. What they're trying to do here, and I think you'll see it in the clip we'll show, is that it's just not the action. You're going to see these guys on the home front dealing with their kids, their wives, you know, the emotional problems
kind of
they go
peek
through.
Behind the curtain.
Exactly.
Yeah, just not the operation. Okay, let's
and
take
this will debut tomorrow night.
Okay, let's take a peek.
Tell me about the operation of last December.
Jackpot. Bravo 2, hold 1.
Mr. Hayes.
Well, look at that. Time's up. And it was just starting to get really good.
Hey, Daddy.
Emma's recital is this week, and I know she won't say anything, but it would mean a lot if you could just be there.
I'll try. I will try.
Go. Just be safe.
We have an opportunity to snatch Abu Samir. He's a high-level ISIL commander, responsible for dozens of attacks in Iraq. He's got 20 years of gold floating around his head. And if you can bring him to me still breathing, I'm gonna get it all.
We're going in the same way we're going out. That's what choppers.
RPG, 12 o'clock.
We're gonna come straight up the valley. We're gonna buzz the compound. We're gonna drop right down on him. Boom, bam. Let's go, brother, huh? Come on, man.
Jason Hayes, meet your new team member.
He's not ready. This kid's a smartass.
Hey, you got a problem with your accommodations?
Do you know how many times I made a hammock on a C-130? Can I at least get an Ambien if I'm going to sleep sitting upright for the next 19 hours?
How about you sit back down and don't make me kick your ass up and down this aircraft?
Hey, just wanted to introduce you to the hair missile. Get a scent on you while he's still calm.
Hey, whoa. No, you never tell him to sit. Only time he's supposed to sit is when he smells explosives. We clear?
We got movement.
The video feed appears to show subjects unloading a hooded prisoner.
We got this.
You can run, but you can't hide.
This is Sierra Hotel 1. The tunnel is not secured. You copy?
you copy? Tunnel not secured.
This is X-Ray 1. Looks like the dog's found something.
Okay, easy. Raise your hands. Raise your hands.
Make it back home to us.
Roger that.
It's all right. It's okay. We're here. We're American. We're gonna take you home, okay?
Tell me about the operation.
Listen to me. I told you to stay out of the tunnel. We were sent 5,000 miles to bring him in alive.
We should have brought him in for you.
You just saved a woman from being tortured to death. You also, by the way, found time to rid the world of one of its few dozen or so most evil people. I'd call that a good night's work.
That could be pretty powerful.
Yeah.
So tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night, 8 o'clock.
In all of your TV watching, have you ever seen a show fail because it's just too real? Like we just see enough of it in real life?
Yeah, I'd have to think about that. I mean, nothing bubbles up to my mind right now, but you know, I think sometimes shows, you know, you really sometimes want to have a feel-good show, and after a while, some shows that get too dark after a while I just get tired of. Like I was a huge Walking Dead fan, and you know, I probably saw every episode up until season 6, and then it just got to be, you know, too dark, especially the character Negan, who was chopping people's heads off and whatnot. I said, you know, like life sometimes is, I need a little more humor in my life, you know.
Give me something fun I can laugh at night before I go to bed.
Yeah.
Okay, this does look really good though, so we will see how it does. We're going to take another quick break. This is Open Line. If you have a question about our programming here at News Channel 5 or the CBS Fall lineup, give us a call. We'll get it answered in the next segment, 615-737+. We'll be right back.